Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. It looks like a nice sunny day today. It's nice and warm in the plant room here. I had to water all my trees today. They were getting a little dry, the trees in the basement and the trees in the plant room here. We had quite a cool night last night. The temperature went down to -6 degrees Celsius, the coldest night of this winter so far. My greenhouse seemed to have stayed above freezing. I noticed the little bit of water in the bottom of the watering cans was still liquid. I went to refill my water barrel up in the plant room. I turned the tap open on my cube and nothing came out. So I think the tube by the tap there is frozen. So I've got to thaw that to get some more water out, and eventually I'll drain the entire cube for the winter. I'll try the tap now. Maybe it's warmed up a little bit. No, nothing. Warm it up with my hands. Maybe that'll make a difference. Oh, I see a little bit of water coming out. There's a drip. It's not going above freezing today, and I looked in the forecast and I don't see any days in the next week where it goes above freezing either. So, oh, it's running more now. You can see it now coming out. If I leave that open, I think the warm water from the tank will unclog that. Well, it's coming out a lot stronger now. It's still not full force, but I think it'll get there soon. So far this winter, I've used over a third of the water in my water barrel. So I'd like to refill it before I drain that cube. That's coming out pretty good now. I'll have to get a bucket under there. There we go. It's flowing quite well now. So this water is really cold. It's like ice water. So I've just watered all the trees in the plant room in the basement. So I'll mix this water in with my warmer water in the plant room. And by the time I need to water the trees again, this will have warmed up. Okay. In the greenhouse here, it's a balmy 12 degrees Celsius and about 60% humidity. Really nice in here. I brought my giant sequoia seedlings into the greenhouse this morning. I felt sorry for them out there in the cold. They're doing really well. I only got dieback on the one here. The tip of it kind of died back. It looks like this branch is taking over as the new leader. So the rest are doing well. So I'm hoping I get them through the winter okay, because I want a giant sequoia bonsai for sure. I better get back to my cube and see if that bucket's filled up. So I'll continue filling up that barrel in the plant room until it's full, and then we'll come back for some bonsai work. I just had a visit from Andrew, and he brought me a Haas watering can, a big one. This is 5 liters. So this, combined with the nozzle that Scott Winnard sent me, look at that, it fits on perfectly. I have got a nice big working watering can. Let's go fill it up and try it out. All right, here I go. Fill it up with the good cold ice water. There we go. Ooh, good and heavy. I've got 3 watering cans here. This one has the fine nozzle, this one has the medium nozzle, and the new one from Andrew has the large nozzle. So I'll pour them out and you'll see the difference in the amount of water you get out of the end. I'll start with the fine. So there's what you get, a nice fine spray. It's very accurate. You can kind of water different sections of the pot. Here's the medium now. So it's a little more intense, like a heavy rainstorm. And now here's the course, which is just similar to medium, but a bigger spray pattern. Good for watering kind of larger pots. Awesome. I think having the different watering nozzles will really help me water. The fine is good for the smaller pots and kind of pre-soaking some of the soil. The medium is good for medium-sized pots and thoroughly drenching the pot. And then the large will be perfect for the even bigger pots and those that need a really thorough soaking. Thanks, Andrew, for the watering can. It's awesome. It was nice seeing you again, and I hope your mom is feeling better soon. Let's head outside now, and I'll show you how the larch forest is looking at this time of the year. Here's a look at the larch forest. So some of the trees are starting to get a bit bare. Kind of sad to see them lose their needles, but it's nice to also be able to see the structure of the trees in the winter, especially in spring when the buds start popping out. You can start pruning them, getting them more compact. You can really see the branch structure well, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, so they're still in their fall colors, even though it's getting close to winter. Looking pretty cool. There's the bare one. Kind of see the branch structure now. My moss down there is still green. You see the green there. My moss bushes up there, still looking okay. Let's head over to the bog forest now, and I'll show you the larches in that planting. Here we are. You can see that the larches are pretty well bare. And my goal was to get these more compact, kind of a tighter conical shape. And you can see on the branches all the buds back in closer to the trunk line, so I can shorten these branches a lot. It's the one nice thing about larches. Well, it's one of the nice things about larches is that they go completely bare, and you can really give them a nice structural prune. Yeah, so that's encouraging. All these back buds, I can really bring these trees in compact, and it should really help make this planting look even more miniature. My temple is still out here in the cold. So I'll be working. Oh, I see a lot of cracking. Oh dear, I should have brought it in. Oh dear. Yeah, I got some separation of some of the cement pieces. That's okay, I'll fix it all up. It's meant to be for tropical, so they won't see freezing. So anything that's cracked now can be fixed, and I'll bring it into the warmth soon. T-Rex here isn't looking too happy out in the cold, is he? I think today I'm going to work on my witch's tree here. It's planted, it's a root over rock, and I just planted it over the rock, I think 2 years ago. So not this summer, but the one before. So this summer I exposed the roots. I planted moss on top of the rock and the roots to kind of keep those roots alive and grow them into the main part of the planting down here. So I have a lot of deadwood on this tree. You can see the back. There's a deadwood vein going up here. So I'm hoping it eventually kind of heals around that deadwood. My goal for this tree is to make it look very weather beaten and kind of scary looking, really gnarly, and that's why it's called the witch's tree, because it's kind of spooky looking. So it grew quite well this summer. You can see it needs pruning back. The shoots are getting really long on it to get it more compact, get it ready for next year's growing season. I'm going to start the work today by pruning back all the long shoots that have grown over the summer, getting the tree more compact, and then we'll take a look at it and see what further styling it needs. Let's start down here, these lower branches. So I'm just going to prune them back, keeping some nice green foliage on the branch, always. So I'm going to take it back quite compact to here, taking that off. Here's another heavy lower branch that has a lot of new foliage. So you can see There's divisions back here, so I can keep just 2 divisions and prune it back just ahead of those, making that branch more compact here too. And that's got that branch more compact now. I'll prune this one. You can see there's, get that out of the way. There's a division here, so I can prune back to here. I can prune these tips back if I want to. That's about as short as you can get that branch. I'll continue pruning away at the tree, getting all these branches reduced back. Again, always leaving nice green foliage, or in this case bronze foliage, at the tips. Sure is nice working in the greenhouse here. Much nicer than working outside. Boy, a lot of really long new shoots up top. I may have to tackle some of those. They're just everywhere. So I want to get this tree quite compact. To get an old weather-beaten tree, you don't want all this lush foliage on it. It's got to look very sparse, like it's barely surviving. Right now it looks like it's having the greatest time of its life. It's just growing everywhere. And that's what you don't want on an old weather-beaten tree. You want, it very sparse. And what foliage you do have should be really compact and miniature looking. So on this branch, I've got one that hangs down and I've got one that comes up. So I'm going to keep the one that's hanging and prune off the other one, like that. Here's another one that there's a shoot coming straight up that's just too vigorous, and I think I want that pruned back. This to here. Here's another one. This shoot's coming up. Very vigorous. I'll take that top off of it. So these trees are really hardy. That's why you'll see a lot of Canadian bonsai people with these Thuja or Eastern White Cedars. They can pretty well survive any winter. Even if you leave the tree out on the bench, it can go through most winters and it won't die. They're very hardy. Now, saying that, they're not impossible to kill. They do need some winter protection. If it gets down to below 0 Fahrenheit or minus 18 Celsius, I would protect them. The wind can dry them out, kill off the branches. But once the roots are frozen, they can pretty well survive the winter. So here's some branches here. This branch comes out, there's one drooping here, there's one off to the side. I can take this vigorous leader off, like that. So the tree's looking much more compact now. It's nice to see it actually this compact. But I still have a ways to go. It's still looking very lush up top. So I've got to, thin everything out. So I'm just working away doing that. Reducing all these shoots back. They're a nice species to work on too because they're so fragrant. When you're pruning them, that has a nice cedar smell. And studies have shown that it's really good for you to have that natural scent of a forest around you. It does something to your body's hormones. Looks like the sun's disappeared. It was getting nice and warm in the greenhouse here, and now it's cooling off a bit more. Might have to put my sweater back on. Now, I still have a lot of long shoots over this side. Take that one off the top. Let me just get the turntable out. Make it easier to get these back branches. I just have my squeaky wooden one out here. Okay, and I can move that down a bit to there. That works quite well. Wow, that's a long branch out the back here. All right, I'll continue with the work. I've got to get this tall branch off the back here. Reduce back. I think I'm going to take it right down to here. Taking that whole top off. Reducing this back. This back. Wow, some vigorous shoots here. So I must have been feeding this well, watering it well. The tree looks really happy. Every branch has to have a spot of sunlight. Otherwise you get branches dying off. You can see some of these ones in the shade here. They just died off because they weren't getting enough sun. Also, every branch should have a leader. So, you know, you've got a trunk line coming up. You should have like an apex or a leader. So in this case, I'm going to keep this as my leader. And I'm going to prune off some of these other longer ones. I'll shorten that to here. Prune off the one on the inside. Yeah, so you've got to have flow lines in your tree, otherwise they don't look graceful. They look kind of a bit clumsy looking. I'm looking at the tree now. So you see how it's just like very shaggy up top? I want to see like an apex for each branch and have the three kind of main branches that form the canopy to be distinct, so it just doesn't come up into like a broom style. So I've got to thin it out. So I'm getting these branches a little more sparse, pruning them back. You can kind of see the individual branch structures on the tree now, which is nice to see. So you can see now, you know, the clip and grow branches are starting to get quite nice. They're twisty, getting character to them. And that'll just keep continuing over the years. They'll just keep getting better. I think all the major pruning is done. I'm going to step back and have a look at it now. I think somewhere about here would be the front of the tree. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. You can see the branch structure quite nicely. It's kind of got a real weather-beaten look to the tree. Quite happy with it. I'll rotate the tree around now so you can see it from all angles. So I don't know where the front is yet. It's to be determined in the future, but hopefully it'll look good from all views. So let's rotate it around now. You can see a bit of deadwood here. Coming around to the deadwood. So in future, this should close up quite nicely. Leave a nice scar on the tree. Yeah, it's on its way to becoming a scary witch's tree. Let's go in now and take a closer look at some of the branches on the tree. I really had fun working out here in the greenhouse on my witch's tree on this cold winter's day. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.